So we're going to go ahead and get started. And we have with us folks from the Institute of Taoist Education and Acupuncture. And I'll introduce them briefly. We're going to try to save time so they have more time to speak. But Dr. Randy Savage is from the Acupuncture from Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. And Larissa Applegate is third-year student at the International Taoist Education and Acupuncture School and in the practitioner track. And Kristen Stone, for over 2 decades, she's had the privilege of walking alongside people on their healing journeys, starting with massage therapy and expanding into aesthetics. And the topic we're going to talk about today is one that, while we were at Kunshan in China, the Chinese government is finally allowing people there to begin to talk about the spiritual side of medicine again, which was forbidden for many, many years. And particularly when it comes to this topic and the changing of the seasons, we went to one display that they had that had holograms of each of the different seasons. And they were explaining to everybody, to one of the museums and one of the hospitals, that to ancient Taoists, the seasons were the movements of God. And that the entire universe is imbued with that energy. And that when you watch the changing of the seasons, you're watching the movements of the divine. And so with that as a little bit of an introduction, I'll let these ladies do a much better job than I just did.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As he said, my name is Randy Savage, and I'm actually the Director of Admissions at ITA, which is the Institute of Taoist Education and Acupuncture. And I'm also the Dean of Students there as well. And yeah, he did such a brilliant introduction. I'm actually going to turn it over to Larissa and to Kristen. And we'll open it up for questions at the end for about 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I'm excited to give this talk. Finding balance in the energy of the seasons. And again, my name is Larissa Applegate. I have a degree in pediatrics. I'm a medical doctor, and Kristen is a licensed massage therapist and a licensed esthetician. Kristen and I are both third-year students in clinic, so we are practicing in our clinic. Our location is in Louisville, Colorado. And I'll start just by reading the mission of ITEA. Our mission starts with promoting the health of individuals and grows to encompass the health of the world we live in and all of nature that makes it up. So our objectives today are to introduce the community to our school and classical 5-element acupuncture, discuss the law of 5 elements and its relation to the 5 seasons, discuss the Chinese clock, and provide ways that everyone here can find balance in mind, body, and spirit. Finding balance in the energy of the season, it is first important to understand the flow of energy according to the law of 5 elements. This law is the backbone of classical 5-element acupuncture. It is our guide when practicing this ancient medicine. The flow of energy in our bodies, something you've been hearing a lot about today, our qi, follows the pattern of the 5 elements. This is our generative cycle, our creative cycle of energy. It is continuous, and the energy has no beginning or end. So seen in the diagram, energy of wood, which is green, flows into the element of fire, and the energy of fire flows into earth, which then flows into metal, and then it flows into water. Furthermore, each element is associated with a season. So wood is associated with the season of spring, summer with fire, late summer with earth, and fall with metal, and finally winter with water. The flow of energy is a pattern that is familiar to all of us, and this is a pattern of the seasons. We see this in nature year after year, and we experience how nature transitions from season to season. This flow of energy is also inside of us. Our qi flows in this pattern, and when this flow of energy is balanced within ourselves, qi flows naturally to support ourselves in mind, body, and spirit. Each element and its associated season has a power. These powers flow in our body every moment of our lives and every part of our being. Classical 5-element acupuncture uses the law of 5 elements, each element's season and each element's power to find alignment or balance in mind, body, and spirit. And when supported in this way, an individual is able to tap into their own resources, their own chi to find balance. Nature has the power to heal, and that power is within us. Classical 5-element acupuncture is an avenue to find harmony, mind, body, and spirit. So to go through the powers of the season, wood is associated with the power of birth. Fire is associated with maturity. Earth is associated with decrease. Metal with balance, and water with emphasis. So finding balance in the energy of late summer. So late summer, it's a season of its own, and you may know it as second summer or Indian summer. Today's talk is centered around late summer, as it is the one that is least commonly known in Western culture, but one that is essential to 5-element theory and the practice of classical 5-element acupuncture. So our intention is to provide this information so it can go home with you as you and nature continues to transition into the fall season. The officials of 5-element that's associated with the earth element are the stomach and the spleen. Most of us are familiar with these organs in our body. And in classical 5-element, not only do these organs have physical functions for our body, but they also have functions for the flow of chi to our mind and spirit. We are all familiar with how the stomach receives our food from our mouth and our esophagus, and how it then begins the job of transforming our food into physical nourishment, our fuel. In ancient Chinese medicine, the stomach takes in, digests for our physical body, but also for our mental and spiritual digestion and processing. The spleen on the physical level stores blood. It also houses many immune centers. In ancient Chinese medicine, it is a great filter of blood. It's the central powerhouse, transforming nutrients into vital chi. The power of the earth element is decrease, and the essence of earth in late summer is to centralize, to have one be grounded, to be nourished through harvest for mind, body, and spirit. The stomach and spleen officials associated with late summer use our chi to nourish, again, mind, body, and spirit. The essence of grounding in late summer is a time for us to shift ourselves inward, moving away from the showiness of summer and the outward joy and connection we find in the summer season. When you look around in nature, you will begin to notice this pattern. This is a picture of a dahlia plant I took last weekend in my neighborhood. And you can see the showiness of the blooms. They are decreasing, centralizing to the ground. And the colors of the petals are changing. They're deepening their tone. We can translate this pattern in nature into our own lives. And you can ask yourselves these questions. Where can I decrease and be grounded in mind, body, and spirit? How can I find this balance so I can nurture myself and feel secure and stable? So again, late summer is about centralizing. And when one is feeling uncentered, ungrounded, where do we most often go? We go home. It's a place to eat food, get rest, and be with ourselves and our family. It's a place of stability and security. It provides nourishment. It's a place to be settled. And some of you may be thinking already, gosh, this earth element in late summer sounds so much like a loving, supportive caregiver, or a parent, a mother, or you may be thinking about your childhood home. That is because this type of nourishment is akin to the love of a mother. And the maternal love and the nourishment she provides is understanding, comforting, nurturing, and it provides again on all levels, mind, body, spirit. so that one can be at home within oneself, centralized. Earth is our mother, Earth is our home. And the pictures on the slideshow are actually what happened. And I wrote this the morning I heard I was facilitating this talk. And it just fit perfectly with what we're trying to achieve today, which is talk about the essence of late summer. I had to leave for work. My kids weren't awake yet. It's the first day of fall break, and they were leaving for a trip. They were going away for 5 days, and I had to work and had school. And so this is the note I wrote to my children. Dear my loves, have a great time. When you get home, we will harvest the apples. Love, Mommy. And so the words of home and harvest, again, aligning with the power and essence of the earth element and the season of the late summer. This is an apple tree. It's in the front of our home. We planted it 12 years ago. Came as a 1-foot sapling from the Audubon Society, and we planted it when my youngest was born. This thing has been through heck and back. Everyone knows what Colorado Springs are like. Freezes, frosts, heavy snow. So finally, we're at the late summer season, the first one ever in 12 years that we have apples. And so my children were going away. I was staying home, but it's like, when you come home, let's harvest together. And now we have enough apples to make an apple pie every week through the fall and winter seasons. So this is our harvest at home, and this will continue when you think about the flow of energy through the 5 elements and the seasons. This can continue to flow through every season that we transition into, and again, in mind, body, and spirit within ourselves. So again, the apples are a representation of my harvest and my security and grounding in my spirit. And this is exactly what classical 5-element acupuncture is about. This is the spirit medicine of acupuncture. So the essence of earth element in late summer is harvest and home. And earth is a provider of nourishment and stores. It's a giver of harvests, a distributor of nature's bounty. So the earth element in late summer is a time for us to recognize our bounty. Time to take harvest of what we have taken in, digested, processed, and transformed to distribute to all levels, not only our body, but our mind and our spirit. The season of late summer and the power of earth element gives us a sense of belonging, a sense of home, security, stability. Harvest provides the foundation for a secure, stable, grounded spirit. There is a harvest to nourish you on all levels. So finding balance in the energy of late summer is a time to self-reflect and a time to decrease, go more inward, centralize. So where can you harvest? Where can you nourish yourselves, mind, body, and spirit? So some questions to take home with you. Have you had a harvest in your life? If not, what is getting in the way? Are you able to take things in, digest, process, and transform? And when you feel stuck in life, what is happening inside? Is it your mind, your body, your spirit? Is your mind bound up? Dirt, earth, so dry and infertile, you are unable to take in or process. Is your body physically blocked due to indigestion and unable to take food in? Is your spirit so locked up and stuck it cannot harvest or find the resources you have inside or take stock of your inventory? So one thing to take home with you today, if you are feeling uncentered and ungrounded or undernourished, go ahead and try this. We did it all the time as children. We can do it again as adults. Go outside, lay down on the ground and feel the Mother Earth beneath you, holding you. You are secure, you do belong, and you can receive. You can receive nourishment. You can take harvest for your mind, body, and spirit. So another practical way to help yourselves as you transition from late summer into the fall season is your diet. So we're building a diet to again nourish mind, body, and spirit. So it's time to add more fat. In spring and summer, we tend to have less fat in our diet. So we have to get prepared for the fall and winter. It's harvest time. Everyone who works so hard are farmers. Maybe you have your own crop in your backyard. So let's harvest that. Let's enjoy some cheeses and yogurts and meat, whole grains, nuts and seeds. And refined sugars can dampen the spleen. And again, spleen is associated with the late summer. So you can choose to use other forms of sugars, so agave or maple, honey or date sugar. Some herbs to think about if you feel like you have a weak digestion, certainly want to avoid cold foods or drinks. Endive, dandelion greens, chicory can help strengthen your digestion. If you feel like you have weak acid in your stomach, think about teas that have rosemary or dried orange peel, juniper berry tea. For gas, hyperacidity, indigestion, think fennel, anise, fenugreek, or cardamom tea. And licorice root can soothe the digestive tract, and it's a mild laxative to get things going. Catnip to calm a nervous stomach, cinnamon, chamomile, ginseng, caraway, parsley. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna now hand this over to my classmate, Kristen. She's also gonna give you some information on some things you can take home with you today. Thank you.
That was really good. All right. She covered so much. That was lovely. So I'm here to talk to you today about the Chinese clock. For us, the Chinese clock is a way to kind of see and understand how our energy is flowing throughout a 24-hour period. The chart up there is going to show you the 2-hour time frame that each official has. It's when they have the most, where their chi energy is most elevated and is going to be the most active. So we often look at different habits that we might have and how they might be affecting this chi flow. This next chart is going to kind of show us all of the elements and their officials and the time frame that they are most elevated and that chi energy is flowing the best. Okay. Kind of going in terms with what Larissa covered, I'm going to kind of just go over more of like the elements of the earth element, which would be the stomach and the spleen. The stomach is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And that's when we want to be taking in the nutrients. We're receiving the harvest and digesting it, and then we're transforming it on all levels, mind, body, and spirit. It's not just the nutrients that you're taking in with your food, but also maybe like what you're reading or any kind of social media that you're taking in. It's taking those nutrients and that information, and it's affecting your mind, body, and spirit. So we want to just be aware of what that is affecting. This kind of gives, I know growing up, you always hear breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you're looking at the Chinese clock, we would agree with that, because at 7 to 9 a.m. is when your stomach is most active and that vital chi is working. So it gives kind of a whole new idea of eating between 7 and 9 a.m. because that's when you're going to get the most nutrients and the most out of that meal. And then from there, it's going to the spleen, which is from 9 to 11 a.m. The spleen supports metabolism and converts the nutrients from your breakfast into energy. And then it helps deliver them to all of the officials and on all levels of your mind, body, and spirit. We often talk about it as thinking of like the stomach is a harvest and getting like all the food and all the energy from the farmers. And the spleen is the trucks that are going to take that to the store where we can use it, and it transports it kind of to the rest of the world and to your systems. The spleen holds everything together and keeps it in its place. It's very important within the Chinese, within the classical 5 elements acupuncture. If the spleen isn't functioning well and getting all your nutrients to the other officials, you're going to see an imbalance. And by kind of providing support, then it in turn balances out the rest of the cycle that Larissa had up there. So the spleen converts food into the qi, vital qi energy. It also helps us with our capacity of thinking, studying, concentrating. So you can see if the spleen isn't getting the nutrients and providing it and transporting it, you're going to have difficulty with those activities. Being that we're getting into the season of autumn, that element is metal, and the officials that are in metal are the large intestine. Well, I guess we'll start with the lungs since that comes after. So it's 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And that's going to be with creating and transforming life. And it's also kind of where I'm trying to go back to this. There. So the lung also is our connection to like our higher being or to God or to spirit within ourselves and outside. So if you're one to meditate, a good time to meditate is between 3 and 5 a.m. if you want to get up that early. And then the large intestine is also the metal element. They're paired. And the large intestine is from 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. It's about autumn in the element. So it's about acceptance and also letting go. It's the falling of the leaves. It's going kind of within and allowing yourself to rid you of things that are no longer serving you on mind, body, or spirit. There are some activities that help benefit each meridian. The stomach is being balanced, calm, and having regular meals. The spleen is kind of like with your close friends and close relationships. Lungs is exercise, getting that oxygen in and out, being able to inhale and exhale, both mind, body, and spirit. And the large intestine is starting a day with a glass of warm water. Kind of gets your digestion flowing and helps you to eliminate later. Yeah, that's kind of all I have on the Chinese clock. You can kind of see on here how it's divided by the elements and the officials and what the time frame that each of those are better. The heart is another important one. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so that's a good time to kind of exercise or go for a walk and just kind of get that heart going. I don't know, do you want to do the rest?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I can go through the rest too. So the small intestine is going to be from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And it's going to help you sort. It's sorting on all levels, but also like I mentioned before, like the information you're getting in. So how you sort the information you're getting and keeping it from being pure or impure. Your small intestine is the one that kind of determines which one's which. So you obviously want to keep with the pure. And by keeping our system balanced within the 5 elements, it also keeps that in line as well. The bladder, energy restored, it's from 3 to 5 p.m. Kidney is from 5 to 7. And the kidneys have a lot to do with like bones and like our vital chi energy. The kidneys are important in classical 5 elements in many ways. So that 5 to 7 time frame is an important one. Pericardium is about like love and connection. So from 7 to 9 p.m. is a good time to be with like loved ones and family. Like, I mean, we don't recommend to eat at that time, but it's definitely a good time to gather with your loved ones. The triple burner is from 9 to 11 p.m. and it does with metabolic balancing and getting sleepy. The gallbladder is your like, whatever's the planner, right? The gallbladder is the decision making, so it's important to be in bed at that time. You might get like those good dreams of like things that you should get done, or you're accomplishing the things that you want to get done. But it's a good time for to like sleep on it, to like get, like if you're ruminating over something, like in the old phrase of like sleep on it, it's that gallbladder. He's making those decisions. He's going through like what's best for you in the long run. The liver is our planner. We refer to him as the general. He's the one that comes up with those plans and passes them on to that gallbladder to then initiate them and make those decisions. I mentioned lung earlier. It's from 5 a.m. to 3 a.m. And it's going to be that inspiration, that connection with your inner self and your higher self, kind of connects you to heaven and earth. And it's a good time to like meditate or be reflective. The large intestine is from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And like I mentioned before, it's good for letting go, accepting things. And then that brings us right back to stomach. You can see it's the whole cycle. Through the 24 hours, it's going to just repeat itself. Yeah. Do I open it?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
What season are we in now?
We're in autumn, metal. Yep.
Actually, we're actually coming out of late summer.
We're like transitioning.
We're transitioning. So when 50% of the leaves are off the trees, then that's when 50% of the leaves are off the trees, then that's considered autumn or fall. So we're sort of like going right into it. And probably after the wind today, with knocking all of the leaves off, I would say tomorrow we're probably in autumn. So Kristen is not wrong. Anyway, great question. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
You had mentioned 1 to 3, the one time to meditate, one.
3 to 5.
It's actually 3 to 5 a.m. because that's when the energy of the lung is the highest, and the lung is associated with inspiration from spirit, and whether that means God or religion or things like that, or that you feel connected to something outside of yourself or inside yourself in terms of on a spiritual level. So the energy is the highest during these 2-hour periods of time. And so that's a great time to meditate. And then the 5 to 7 in the morning is a great time to get up and have a bowel movement, because that's when the energy is highest in the colon. So you'll be clearing everything out and letting go as much as possible. So you're not only letting go on a physical level, but you're also letting go on a mental, emotional level. And you've heard Kristen and Larissa talk a lot about spirit. And classical 5-element acupuncture, we focus probably more on the sense of spirit. How is a person feeling inside themselves overall? And how does the Chinese clock, when we have a patient who comes into our clinic, we assess, when are they eating? When are they having bowel movements? Are they meditating, or are they having quiet time? So that we can help a patient to change how or maybe they need modification of when they eat. If they're eating a heavy meal at 10 o'clock at night, that's probably one of the worst times to be eating a meal, because your spleen energy is going to be low, right? And you want to eat when the stomach and spleen energy are at the highest, from 7 to 9 and 9 to 11. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
I'd like to piggyback off of the gentleman's question. When are you supposed to sleep if you're doing all
Liver, gallbladder.
It's a good question. It's, you're sleeping in the background, and, when you're going to sleep, that 9 o'clock time period and later, even though we're physically asleep, our mind and our energy is still flowing in our bodies and in our minds and in our spirit. So it's a good time to go to sleep so that your gallbladder and liver can take time out to kind of plan or to think about something. How many of you have said, I'm gonna sleep on it and I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll have my answer, or I hope to have my answer? Has anybody had that? Yeah, so you are physically sleeping,
Okay.
it's just a matter of that energy is still flowing.
We still want you to
It's
sleep.
still flowing, yeah.
Yeah,
Great,
great.
good questions. Yeah. Good. I also just wanted to mention, Larissa and Kristen, that they both talked about the officials. And in Chinese, in classical 5-element acupuncture, we don't use the word organs as they do in traditional Chinese medicine, which is TCM. And so we call them officials. So it's the same thing as an organ. And in our style of Chinese medicine, and it's true in TCM, but it's just a little bit different about how we talk about it. But we believe that the body is like a kingdom. And within this kingdom, there are 12 officials that all have a job to do in the body, mind, and spirit. And as Kristen mentioned, and Larissa did, about the stomach. Like the stomach not only takes in physical food and digests it, but it also takes in what Kristen mentioned, is if you read a good book, you've devoured a good book. And you're taking that in and you're taking it in and it's nourishing your mind. And it may be nourishing your spirit if it was a great book on that level. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that piece. Yeah. Any other questions?
My question, is, so this is a different aspect of Chinese medicine? Would one be best served by doing both of them simultaneously or subsequently?
Actually, we don't recommend that you get both styles of acupuncture at the same time. The information that they provided today, this is all of the basis of any kind of Chinese medicine, whether it's TCM or other styles. And classical 5-element acupuncture is a little bit different in how we diagnose a person's imbalance or when they're out of balance. We believe that one of the elements tends to go out of balance more often than not. And we call that the causative factor. That's the root cause of a person's imbalance, whether it's body, mind, or spirit. So for example, there's different associations. So if I determine that somebody is a wood causative factor, then I'm going to be treating them appropriately on different meridians that have to do with wood, which is like the gallbladder and the liver meridians. And so because they're two very different styles of acupuncture, it may be confusing to your body or your energy in your body. So we don't recommend that you do both styles simultaneously. That you commit to one and do it for a while, and then if you want to try the other one, then you could certainly try the other one as well. Yeah, it's a good question. Yes.
On 5-element, you want herbs, is that?
We don't typically use herbs. Yeah.
We use
Mhm.
moxa.
Yeah.
There are some 5-element acupuncturists that do practice herbalism. So, but it used to be that you were either an herbalist or you were an acupuncturist. And you weren't both until later in the 60s, 70s. And they sort of took the principles of herbal medicine and they applied it to acupuncture. And so it became a little bit different, which is known as, I'm sure you've heard or other people have spoken about traditional Chinese medicine. Classical 5-element acupuncture is more sort of prior to, it's more shamanic, it's more dated back to the Neijing, which are the ancient texts. So that's why it's called classical 5-element acupuncture, is because you can trace it back to places in the Neijing, the original Chinese text for acupuncture that provide this information. Yeah, is there anything you wanted to add? Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
No.
I think I feel your presence. I think our time is up. Thank you all for your time and
Thank
attention.
you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, thank you very much. And yes, we do have one more speaker left, and we saved the best for last, Dr. Jing Frenken, who's one of the top experts in the world on Chinese herbs. In my clinic, probably his book is probably the one I use the most if I have to look something up. Because it's nice and easy to understand, and anyway, I would highly recommend you stick around, but we do have a few minutes. Jing won't start speaking until about 3:30. So you got a few minutes to explore and check out the booths and